Hi, okay, today I'm going to show you how to use the ZS001 by Zaba Software. It's a MIDI based VST, so it operates on MIDI data and it can be used in Mac OS X and Windows. It can do different things. I'm going to show you the features now. First of all, key detection. Well, here I've got an existing track I'm going to play you a small piece from. Here we go. Now I want to know what the key is, so I've made a channel on the left hand side where I put my ZS001, and I have got the main chord progression from the tune. It's this blue clip here, you can see at the bottom, and I'm going to press detect keys on the key detector section, and then I'm going to play that through, and it should tell me which key it's in, if any. Okay, here we go. So there we go, we've got natural minor G, which is A sharp major, and they're actually identical because every natural minor has a major, or every major has a relative minor, so they are the same, so it's not surprising they're both shown up. And that's really all there is to the key detector. Put any MIDI through there that you want and you can find out the key of it if it's in a key. Okay, detection off. Now what I've got here, I've got a single notes melody, and no chords here, just a melody line. And I'm going to show you how the key corrector can convert it. Now, if I play it, when I'm dealing with the key correction or progression generation chords, I need a sound creating device. Now, you should only need one instance of the ZS001 in a project, because any other synth can have the MIDI from the ZS001 piped through to it. So in Ableton you select MIDI from ZS001, record enable the channel, and it will receive the MIDI from the ZS001. Now here I'm going to not correct the melody at all, I'm just going to record it in alongside the other material that's playing. Okay, so first loop it won't play, and then I'll record the melody on top for the second loop. Here we go. And with the melody. Now that sounds pretty good. I'm actually just going to really quickly analyze the melody and see what key it's in. So press detect keys. Now you didn't hear anything there because I disabled the record enabled, but you can see it's in a few more keys now, but basically it's still within the natural minor G, A sharp major. That's why it sounds good with the existing track. Okay, sounds right, sounds nice. And what you can do though, if you imagine that we just have these two channels in a different project, and we like the melody, the timing, but we don't, it's in the wrong key. So for now I'm going to push it through with no key correction, and then I'm going to change it into a different key, natural minor E, and you should hear the difference. There, you've got a slightly different pattern of notes. So here is the first pattern, and here is the second one. So this second one is in natural minor E. Okay. Now I can each key. There's 60 keys here. Okay, 5 times 12 is 60. Each key will give a slightly different sound. I mean, some are the same, but you can basically go through these these keys to create different patterns. So the point of this key corrector section is to really give you just different patterns, and anything you put through there will come out the other side in a key, so it will sound right. You can have a load of clumpy notes in there bunched up together, put it through here, and it will sound in key. Okay, so now what we're going to do for the next piece, we're going to take the key of this project, which is natural minor G, and let's now make chord progressions. So with chord progressions, again, we have to have the MIDI coming from the ZS001, and what we have to use is what's called a feed clip. Okay, so a feed clip will have notes in it, and it doesn't matter where the notes are in the up-down direction. This feed clip will basically provide the timing of the chords. So here, how many we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So these 11 notes in the feed clip will be fed through the ZS001 into the next channel with the UHE Ace, and it will make the UHE Ace play chords. So here I'm going to select 11 here because we've got 11 chords. Now we've got the feed clip is of length 4, so each cycle in the generation will be of length 4. So here we go, I'm going to play it with the rest of the stuff. So here we haven't got the chords played yet, but I'm going to record them now. Okay, here we go. So that's there are chords, and each cycle has got 11 chords in it. Okay, so here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, what you might notice about the last two chords here is this one has 4 notes. That's because it's called the dominant, the V7 chord. And for that key, the V7 is important because when we hear V7I, this is called the I chord, that's known as an authentic cadence. Authentic cadence is very important because it sounds right. It tells us unambiguously what key we're dealing with, and the brain is tuned into that. Now ZS001, you'll notice each clip recording is called a generation. Within generation you have cycles. Each cycle will end with an authentic cadence. So here we have again an authentic cadence. Now that may or may not be desirable all the time, so you can actually turn that, you can tweak that, you can turn it off. So if you've got cycles per authentic cadence here. If you select 0, that means there's no authentic cadences. Okay. If you select 2, that means you've got 2 cycles for every authentic cadence. Okay, so it happens half as often. If you select 4, then you've got 4 cycles for every authentic cadence. So now if I show you just quickly. Now here is our authentic cadence, the 4-note chord and 3, and that's only going to happen 1 in 4 cycles because we've got it set to 4. Okay, other features are, well, we've got just an octave control, so we can go up to +8 or down to -2. So here we go, I've gone up 1 and it sounds higher. Down to 2. So you don't need to meddle with the synth or the clip in Ableton or your sequencer you're using. You can just control all of the octave range here. Okay, the next one is a hat symbol. Now, this hat is actually known as the drop. Okay, and the drop control well, let me first talk about inversions. So inversions are handled in ZS001 on a random basis. So they will randomly, you get a first inversion and you get a second inversion randomly as well, according to chance. So that's how inversions are handled. Now the drop control, you've got a lot of control here. You can take the fifth and drop it down every time by 1. Okay, 5, 1. The third, drop it down by 1 every time, 3, 1. The root, drop it down by 1 every time, R1, and so on. Okay, here's how it sounds with the fifth dropped by 1 each time. Okay, where are we? Let's go back to our original octave of 3. Here we go. Sounds a bit different. I could drop that fifth by 2, for example. Let's hear it again. Okay, so that controls the drop of 1 note or 2 notes. You can have the fifth and the third drop by 1, and so on. Now, the second section of this control has question marks in it. This means you have a chance, there's a probability involved that the here, for example, the fifth and the root will be dropped by 1. It doesn't always happen, but it happens quite often. So let's just quickly play that. Here we go, record it. Okay, now I'm going to leave that on 5 - 1 now, so the fifth is going down 1. Now I'm going to jump to the end here. The two controls at the end are really important. They are chance of repeats and max number of repeats. Now, a lot of great patterns will have really nice sounding repeats. Nice sounding. A lot of really great sounding patterns will have repeats in them. Okay, so if I select the repeat chance to be 35 and the max number of repeats to be 3, okay, it's just going to make the chord progression sound nicer. Here we go. And there we had this bit here sounded really nice, I think. If I just loop that, you can hear it. So. Anyway, now finally, last two controls here are spread range and micro spread. Okay, we're kind of running out of time, so I'm going to very quickly show you what this does. I'm going to turn off the drop. If I set spread to be ±2, then we will go up and down by 2 octaves. So here we go. And I can increase that to 3 or 4. Okay, it's basically spreading the notes out. But the very clever thing about this is you have great control over, I can, for example, spread the notes up by 5 octaves and down by 1. So I can control the spread in either direction. And here, 5 is extreme spreading, wide, and 1 is narrow. Okay, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening. Enjoy it. ZS001 by Zoabis.